All right, you guys, Kanye, or Ye, he changed his name, so I'm going to try to always remember it's Ye. He did an interview with Alex Jones on InfoWars. Now, Alex Jones isn't the most popular person right now to be associated with, but Kanye doesn't give a crap, okay? Um, are we supposed to listen to who we should be around because other people don't like what he said about, what he got sued over? It was horrible to not admit what happened to those kids. But I think he was made an example of. And now Kanye is being made an example of. And he went on Alex Jones InfoWars and he spoke his mind about everything. So I'm going to play the audio for you guys, and I'm going to have to interject every now and then to give my opinion on something that's been said. It is just how it goes on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you guys are used to that. So let's go. Here's the Alex Jones show at Infowars.com. This was aired on December 2nd at 7:50 a.m. Let's get to it. Okie doke.
This is InfoWars, right? So you got some info warriors on both sides of you, and you fought for us. You've been fighting this battle for a long time, Alex, and we just got to salute you as a Christian and as American, because you paved the way to make braver soldiers like us today. It's like Terminator Part 10 happening right now.
So you heard he thanked Alex Jones for, putting out information that he wanted to talk about, even though, in my opinion, some of the stuff that he spoke about was not true. However, like I said, I think they went too hard on Alex Jones. They took $1 billion from him, and then there was another several hundreds of millions awarded to some other people. So let's see what else they're going to talk.
Thank you for having me.
Well, where would you like to start? This first little 5-minute segment is just kind of a prelude to what's coming up. What do you want to cover here today?
Just God runs the world, and Jesus is the way and the life. And it's time to put Jesus first in the way that we run our businesses, the way we run our families, our businesses, and the way we run our country.
For radio listeners, we're on over 400 radio stations. They can't see you right now. This is a new look for you.
Oh no, I've been wearing a mask for a while.
Ah.
Yeah.
So this is an archetypal example that the mask is off by putting the mask on.
People can take it how they want to take it. It's just, it's interesting if you look at a Michael Jordan or something, you load up all these pictures and he's smiling and he's holding a basketball, he's jumping from the free throw line, and then you look at Phil Knight and you barely can see a picture of him and he's got his face covered. So I don't have to show my face. It's me. That's my right.
Absolutely. Well, that's what Hollywood wants to do, though, is to control everybody through images.
Exactly.
I totally agree. That Hollywood controls people and things. They control the culture with images. And a lot of those images are straight up, in my opinion and several other people, demonic. And we don't even realize that we're looking at some antichrist demonic stuff. Why is it so many people, these celebrities all have their circle, right? They have one of their hands, they have a circle around their eye, their thumb and their forefinger touching, and then the other 3 fingers are sticking up. Why is that? Why have we seen this so many times? Or one of their eyes is covered by something and the other one is open. Some of them are making triangles with their hands, putting them together. There are so many symbols that are out there that we don't think about. And it all goes back to demonic stuff, you guys, literally. witchcraft and all of this. So Alex Jones is right when he says that. So let's get back to the video.
My image now. It's no longer the people that froze my account. It's no longer the people that threatened me. We've got past the threats. They tried to throw me in jail for the truth. And, you know, people believe me. And people see that I wasn't crazy on what I was talking about. And they tried to write it off, and they keep trying to write it off. But the truth is, the more and more I'm faithful to Christ, the more and more he's going to keep unlocking the blessings. You know, he set it on my heart to build communities, to build farms, to build schools, to build the choir. But when you do that, you have to be really obedient. Hey guys, could you not talk in the back? I'm like, real.
So there's some guys who are on the set, and they're talking and snickering a little bit, and it is bothering the heck out of him. How many of you are like that? That's nothing weird going on there. I'm like that too when I'm trying to talk about something and I'm reaching back in memory to remember, you know, what I'm talking about, because it's important and I want to get the message out clearly. If someone's talking around me, it will totally throw me off. How many of you are like that? Put it in the comments if you're like that. Okay, let's get back.
Really hypersensitive to sound. If you guys want to talk, just go in the other room, please. But we have to be really obedient. You know, like one of the big topics right now is all of the pedophilia advertisement. And my take on that is, you know, there's one place in the Bible where it says God sees sin differently. And there's another place where it says, you know, let me get out my phone. I can like really pull up the exact thing it says in the Bible. The general gist, and we'll get back to it after the 5-minute break, is that you have to stay strict to everything and remove as much sin as possible in order to serve God. And when people look at pornography, when a grown man is looking at a grown woman have sex on camera, you're still looking at someone's daughter, and you're looking at a lot of times someone that is the product of pedophilia.
Okay, you guys, let me try to explain this, what he's saying, that, you know, porn, most people who fall into that line of work have been abused as children or as young adults. And so they get into that line of work. And when you're watching that crap, you are once again violating that person. And I truly believe that if we're watching this, most of these women and men, but mostly the women, they get into that line of work because of what has happened to them as children. So let's get back to the video.
So people will engage in going to strip clubs or looking at pornography, but then the moral compass is like, oh my God, look at the pedophiles. But in a way, anybody who looks at pornography is a form of a pedophile also. Let's bank it all in. It's very simple. We're not going to be talking about all this moral code and these standards right here. It's either Christ said so or Christ said no.
Yay.
Either Christ said so or Christ said no. So we all have to choose. And you guys, let me tell you what my belief is. We're already up the creek without a paddle. I saw eggs for $20 in Walmart yesterday, and there were only maybe a handful of cartons available. And, you know, the rivers are drying up. We are in the end times. I don't care if people think I'm crazy for saying this, but something is going on. And we all have to walk the straight and narrow as best we can. Because, you know, we're all sinners and God forgives us and we have to forgive ourselves. But once you are forgiven, you never go back to that sin again. But anyway, let Kanye finish, because I'm a baby Christian too. I don't know it all. And he says so he doesn't know it all.
Powerful information. I totally agree with you. Back in 60 seconds, join over 400 radio stations. Nick Fuentes in the studio. Everybody, tell everybody you know, tune in now, Infowars.com/show. Let's break the internet today. Stay with us. Well, make no mistake, this Thursday, December 1st, 2022 broadcast is beyond the Twilight Zone because truth is stranger than fiction. Yay. Maybe more controversial than Alex Jones or Donald Trump now. I mean, we're about the most controversial people in the world. Obviously, the most attacked and demonized. He's here. Nick Fuentes is here as well. America First. We're going to have Ali Alexander on, Owen Schroyer. This thing's going to go for the next 3+ hours as long as Ye wants to go. Some stations don't carry the first 5, but you just dropped some bombs that I totally agree that are huge, Ye. So recap that and continue on, sir.
So he's going to go a little bit deeper into what the Bible says about sin. So let's perk our ears up and listen.
Okay, so I looked this up. It's about sin. That's what we're going to talk about, sin today, and how we need to do everything that we can. We're imperfect, but to free ourselves of sin and repent for sin throughout the day, at night, and in the morning. So right here, the Bible says right here, I know I'm going to do a Corinthians 2, like Trump, new Christian kind of reading of this. So bear with me. I love Jesus, but I'm not the most, experienced Christian. And it says, the book of Proverbs 6:16-19. I'm sure that's the wrong way to read it.
It's okay. You got the floor.
Okay. Identify 7 things that God hates, although there are not any punishments prescribed for those. Scripture clearly indicates that God does view sin differently and that he proscribed a different punishment for sin depending upon its severity. Now watch this one. It says, where the phrase all sins are equal in the eyes of God comes from. As far as I can tell, the most common argument for the belief that all sins are created equal comes from the book of James 2:10. It states, for whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it. Now, I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs, even though he did create Apple. And if you notice, the logo of Apple is actually the fall of man. The
forbidden fruit.
The bidden apple, right?
So you guys, the Apple logo for the iPhone, the iPads, the everything Apple has a bitten apple as the logo, right? So that's what he's pointing out. Now he's going to go into telling why he thinks that Apple was on there. So listen up.
Right. So we can get into, what social media has done to families and all that. We got 3 hours, right? But I like the way our incredible American inventors like Disney and Hughes and Steve Jobs, the way they ran their companies and invented things that changed the world. And the way Steve ran his company was his version of a sinless office. Everyone had to be so meticulous to be able to take what was 10 things at one time and put it in the palm of our hand. Think about an iPhone. It's your fax. It's your email. It's your phone.
And now it's 1,000 things.
Yeah, it's your camera. It's your flashlight. Yeah, it's like 1,000 things in it. But he had to have his army go in with a sinless approach. And right now, God called Gideon to make an army, the 300, the real 300, not the movie version, that were all focused on serving this mission at the time. So we have a mission right now to save our families from social media, from Zionist control, and bring Jesus Christ back to the forefront. And we're protected. I don't have security. My security is the angels. My security is the fact that I didn't load up pornography last night.
Okay, you guys. So he's going to start speaking about his addiction to pornography, okay? And to be honest, when these people from his office came out and said that he was forcing them to look at it, I was like, there is no way in the world. I still don't believe that he forced them to watch porn. But I do believe what he's saying right now, that he was addicted to it. And that is one of the reasons why his marriage fell apart. So let's perk up these ears and listen. Juicy, juicy, juicy coming up.
Right. And I said, this addiction is going to have to flee from me. You know, this addiction since I was 5 years old that has destroyed my mom and my dad's family, that destroyed my family. Like, when I take full accountability for the destruction, like, of my marriage, I'll point at the liberals and say, you took my wife from me. You know what took my wife from me? The fact that I was married to this beautiful person, but I felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like I still needed to look at pornography. In some way, I'd say to her, well, stop making these images, stop breaking the internet. You know, that original term comes from my ex-wife actually having a nude photo that I didn't know about, that someone used her and put her on a magazine. But there's somewhere where she's like, well, if my husband is looking at this, I still want to be like the girls that are doing this. And this becomes people reliving the traumas, pushing the addiction. The pornography industry is not even a big industry. It's like less than $10 billion, right? So that means that it's not used for prosperity, it's used for disparity.
Completely agree. There's nothing prosperous in that industry, in my opinion. It is purely evil. I mean, purely evil. And it does re-traumatize these women. Do you think that they are all running around smiling, laughing, happy to be doing this type of work? No, I don't think so. I think that, like he said, most of them were violated as children or young adults, and in my opinion, they don't have self-worth. They have never gotten the treatment that they needed. This is all my opinion. And so they don't feel worthy to be doing anything else. When I think, I can't even watch porn, you guys, but when I think about it, when I was a teenager, some friends of ours were in my brother's room and they were watching porn. And I was like, what is that? And they made so much fun of me. But whenever I realized what it was, I literally threw up. It was the most disgusting thing. And I've never been able to watch it. It's just evil, you guys. So if you are a person who watches porn, who is addicted to that garbage, you have some work to do.
By the way, George Orwell wrote in 1984, and he'd been the number 2 guy in PSYOPs for OSS and ran propaganda for the British government. But he found out that he didn't like Hitler, but he found out that they were actually manipulated and created him. He didn't like the communists. He'd been one of them. He found out the British intelligence had actually created that and done that. And he explained in 1984 that pornography is something to destroy families, destroy our souls, and get us to commit. He wasn't even a big Christian, but get us to debase ourselves.
Exactly. It destroys souls. It is, to me, it's like animals. And it is one of the things that some people will sit down and watch that garbage and then think it's something normal to go try on their significant other. No, it's not. It is demonic.
So that they can control us.
Absolutely. You got alcohol and pornography are these legal drugs. Alcohol is a spirit. We're gonna go into the spirit of alcohol. Let's just go to the facts today. Let's not just even do opinions. And I love how you brought that in, because now you got God's warriors coming together. Right now, okay, Nick Fuentes doesn't have a Twitter account. Alex Jones doesn't have a Twitter account. But hey, guess what, Elon? I got a Twitter. And today I'm going to have Nick and Alex tweet from my account. You like that, Ari Emanuel?
Oh, Kanye. Okay, you guys, if you didn't see the video that I did about who Kanye blamed for some of the things that are going on with him, like losing his billionaire status, well, he says, do you guys remember Rahm Emanuel was, I forgot what his position was with the Obama White House, but he was very high up, and he was also a mayor of Chicago at one point. Well, his brother is Ari Emanuel, and he is a very powerful guy in the entertainment business. And so it is said that Ari was the one who called on everyone to not have anything to do with Kanye, to break him and make him poor. And so that is why Kanye just said that name. So let's get back to it.
I'm all about free speech. And the greatest threat is those that want to silence us. That's why it comes First Amendment. Yeah. Anybody trying to take your speech is the enemy.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, and it's...
Okay, you guys, I agree with Alex Jones about we should have the freedom to speak our minds. Our free speech, I keep saying that free speech is being taken away from us in this country. I believe it. However, free speech is not making shit up. Excuse my language. Free speech, you can speak your mind, you can speak your your beliefs and all of that, but you can't lie and call that free speech. Now, I don't know if Alex Jones believed what he was saying about the, shooting at Sandy Hook. I don't know if he believed what he was saying, or was he saying it just to make money, but it wasn't true. And I don't call that free speech. So what do you guys call free speech? Tell me in the comments. Let's get back.
I do find it a little bit hypocritical that Elon Musk said that he was purchasing Twitter to create a free speech environment. He says that free speech is the thing that's going to save the West and our civilization. But yet he has taken exception to you, Alex, for some seemingly specific reason, maybe personal to him, but definitely not principled. So I think it's time that the people finally demand a real victory here. We've been at war, essentially, since Trump came down the golden escalator 7 years ago to put America first, to put Christ first, to free the internet.
Okay, you guys, I don't know who Nick is, and I'm not very interested in what he has to say. So we're going to skip back over to Kanye, okay? Okay, you guys, I skipped over to Alex Jones. This is kind of an intro to Kanye, but he's going to talk about something that, I think we should listen to. Okay?
I'm saying I am a classical liberal at heart, so I love everybody and I judge people by what they do, not what color they are. And then I look at the things you've said, and some of them out of context I don't agree with, but compared to a liberal, a modern liberal saying white people are inherently evil and white people are bad because of their skin color, and then that's what the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center and these leftist groups in Hollywood have pushed. So they're putting out something beyond even what Hitler said, but reversing it onto white people, and we're supposed to sit there and accept it. And then Ye comes out and says, hey, I see kind of a mafia running things, and then he's the devil. No, that's bullshit. Sorry.
Okay, Alex Jones. He said it like a true Texan, right?
All right, we're going to curse a little bit less on this.
Yes, Reverend. I'm going to try. I'll stop.
And the reason I wanted Nick, people have heard from Nick, but people haven't heard from Nick with Ye standing right next to him. It's like that's the thing that the Zionists control, the 300 in control of the media, in control of the governments. They don't want us to connect to each other. Like my dad said, okay, they say you're anti-Semitic, but they say he's a white supremacist. And he's asking me, well, what's the difference? I said, Dad, there is no difference. It's just separation and confusion. They want to separate and confuse the Christians and make us afraid to stand next to each other. A Christian can stand next to anyone. We can go visit R. Kelly in prison. We can go talk to Harvey Weinstein.
That's what Jesus did.
Yes, because Jesus can save everyone.
So you guys, did you hear that? He says Jesus can save everyone, even someone like R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein, right? Who believes? What Christian wouldn't believe in that? We know all of us have sinned, not like, we're not supposed to judge other people's sins, but I think that pedophilia and the hard R word, RAPE, are two despicable, horrible things that, most normal people would never commit. But Jesus can still take those sins away and make those men worthy. Okay? So let's listen to Kanye.
But if the Zionists can get us so afraid that they're going to do what they've been doing to me, attempting to put me in jail, freeze my accounts, smearing me on the media, all of these things, you put on the whole armor of God and they will not be able to break your spirit.
And by the way, we can do 3 hours on this subject, and you do 5 hours on it. And let's just get it all going now, because I want to get into everything about your plans to try to bring jobs to America, unifying people, running for president, all those other issues. So I'm not steering us away from that. I'm just saying, let's just run with it as far as you guys want to go, and then I want to get into all the other topics that surround things.
Oh, beautiful. So where do you want to start?
Well, I would just start with this. There are good people from every group and every type of culture, and we all know that. But definitely the left, when it was America defeated Hitler, calls their opposition Hitler. When both my grandfathers almost died in the Army Air Corps, both of them almost died. One of them crash landed after a mission and got all broke up. The other one got hit in a German air raid in North Africa.
So you guys, did you hear who brought Hitler up first? It was Alex Jones. He's telling a story about both of his grandfathers, on the paternal and the maternal grandfathers were in the war against Hitler and the things that happened to them. And so we're going to listen to how Hitler came up in the conversation. Well, we know from Alex, but let's listen.
And he'd only done like 18 of his missions, and then he had a concussion, and he was the captain, and then his buddies went up the next day and blew up over Italy. He was always freaked out, but I never really talked about it until he died. But when he died, we read the letters and all the awards he had and stuff, and the things he did after that, and then re-upping and recommitting to the Army Air Corps. So I take it as an offense to have George Soros and people that actually work for Hitler rounding up people, tell me I'm a Nazi when I almost don't exist when my grandfathers went over there. I got a lot to say about this as well. It's just nuanced with the whole thing that's going on. But expanding on that, give us, because I want you to go wherever you want. So let's just have you talk for 10, 15 minutes more before me and we got a lot to hear from Fuentes and he needs to be heard, but we want to hear from Ye. Go ahead.
Well, I said with Ali Alexander and Nick Fuentes that we're like the SWAT team of free thought, and I go in with this battle ram at the door, and then they come in with these laser beams and have that information. And we work together as a team. A lot of times in media, they want to single out one person and burn them to the core. That is a Zionist approach. And they're asking me to use that same approach. Well, hey, don't say all people, just say specifically the businessmen. And then I go on Lex Fridman and I say who it specifically, and that's still not enough. They're still taking it too far. Everyone knows and agrees now that it's like a reverse version of American History X, the scene when they put the guy's head against the curve.
So you guys, he's talking about a movie called American History X. That movie is from the 1990s, you guys. I watched it back then and I cannot watch it ever again. It was so violent what they did to there were Nazi type white supremacist guys. This is in a movie, and one of them pulled a gun out on an innocent black guy. I think he was innocent. And I watched the movie once. I couldn't watch it again. And he put a gun to his head, and then he put his jaw, his top teeth, his top, jaw against the cement, and he smashed his head and killed him that way. Very, very violent. And he went to prison. And while in prison, he left his white supremacist ways behind. And his life was changed after that. So if you guys get a chance, go watch that movie. I can never ever watch it again. But if you're a grown up, go watch it. It can teach us all something.
and kick the back of it. And now people are like, wait a second, the so-called crime doesn't deserve the punishment. What did I thought?
Well, that's right. You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love us, and you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts, and you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician, you can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good.
So he's saying that, yeah, Hitler was horrible, but he did things that we still use till this day that changed the world. Like he said, highways, microphone, and something else. Let's see what else.
And I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table.
Exactly.
Especially Hitler. How about that one? Ari Emanuel, how you like that one? Hey, Ron, you going to do anything to fix Chicago?
Okay, remember Ari Emanuel and Rahm Emanuel are brothers. And I'm not sure if Rahm is currently the, not governor, the mayor, but he just asked him if he's going to do anything to fix Chicago.
Well, I am worried about the thousands of black folks down in the month of Chicago, but let me expand on that because that's a nuanced issue. Yeah. You know, my grandfather grew up in Dallas and from a pretty wealthy family.
Also, Hitler was born Christian.
I've studied some of the history on it, but it's very interesting. My grandfather, grew up, and actually some of his family spoke some German. There's a lot of Germans in Texas. But did you know that he grew up next door to the inventor of air conditioning and the inventor of one of the major inventors of refrigeration? And so my issue was, growing up, my grandfather told me the stories about some of the inside baseball and the things that went on. But later, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to tell you some stuff about Hitler that you might not know directly that happened to my people I knew.
I'd love to hear everything because guess what? We don't get to hear. It's hidden. Even like our truth, the fact that African Americans were in America before the Pilgrims, that truth is hidden. That we are actually the Native Americans, or some of us are natives, or the fact that what Kyrie got in trouble is pointing out that we're Jewish slave boats. And then,
look at Australia. Yeah. They've done some of the genetic typing of the Aborigines there, and they're basically Africans.
Yeah.
So, did you hear, you guys, what he said? So, Kanye, he may be leaning towards the Hebrew Israelites. They call them the Black Hebrew Israelites here in the United States. Their belief is that Black people were here already, not just the people who came from Africa. And then Alex Jones says, well, the Aboriginals who were first, they are the natives of Australia. Their DNA shows that they are Africans also. So you guys remember back in the day, way thousands of years ago, there weren't several continents. Everything was together. Like one person could walk from, the heart of Africa across to where the US is now in North America. So it is very possible that people from Africa just spread around the world. And then when the continents, broke apart, then you had the Africans in every part of the world. And what is true? What has science proven to be true? That the first human beings came from Africa. So Adam and Eve came from Africa, right? Go read it. Don't think I'm crazy for saying this. Go read it. It has been scientifically proven. All right, let's get back to this.
There you go. So all of these truths, and then the current truths about banking, about the government. My favorite thing that I got to say with Tim Pool was Rahm Emanuel was right there next to Obama. Jared Kushner was right there next to Trump. What do those two people, those two Zionists, I gave it away, have in common? Nick, can you pick that up and expound on that?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting because...
Okay, he brought up this point that when Barack Obama was in office, his right-hand man was Rahm Emanuel. Rahm is a Jewish. Because remember, if we say that word too many times on YouTube, we are in trouble, right? And also, Donald Trump's right-hand man was Jared Kushner. Okay, let's get back. So Nick Fuentes is going to talk now. I don't know who he is, but let's listen.
Because you've been going on these interviews with Lex Friedman and with Tim Pool and Piers Morgan, and they always say, well, don't talk about a group, talk about the individuals. And I would point out, one, it's hypocritical because in the same interview, Tim Pool said, well, wouldn't Ye be so great for the black vote? So you could say the black vote, but you talk about Jewish businessmen, and somehow that's a problem. You can't talk about groups.
Yeah, so they lump everybody in, okay? And then they tell Kanye, you cannot use that term or that word Jewish and lump everybody in. Talk about one person, okay? Listen.
When it's one but not the other. The other thing is that there is something baked into the cake in Judaism which affects how they're brokering these kinds of contracts with entertainers like Ye. If you look at the Talmud, which is a real Jewish holy book or part of the holy book, there's the written Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible. There's the oral Torah, which was written down as the Mishnah and then interpreted in the Talmud. In the Talmud, it says that Jews have to treat Gentiles differently than they treat other Jews. There's all kinds of examples of this. They say that if a Jew indirectly kills a Gentile, there's nothing even wrong with that. There's nothing morally wrong with that. They say that for a Jew to have sex with a Gentile is comparable to bestiality. They say that the semen of a Gentile is like that of horses. They also say that you can't give a gift to a Gentile. A Jew is not permitted under the Talmud to give a gift to a Gentile. They're not permitted to charge each other interest, but they're encouraged to charge Gentiles interest.
What do they say about pedophilia?
They say that that's, in some cases, licit.
Well, I mean, here's...
So you're telling me in their holy book, it says it's okay to be pedophiles as long as it's not another Jewish person.
That's something that came from Adam. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, let me just get this. Let me just get this out front. I believe in free speech, and that's why I want you to be here and be able to say whatever you want. I'm quite the historian from a lot of multifaceted views. So at a certain point, I'm going to give my nuanced views of this because there are power structures and there are mafias and there are cliques and there are groups. And there is certainly leftist Jews that call everybody Nazis they don't agree with.
Okay, let's listen to Alex Jones speak about this.
You don't want open borders, you don't want your guns taken, or you don't want to take a shot. The ADL had a meeting 2 weeks ago and said, Alex Jones is an agent of evil. He should be taken off the air. He's the devil because he doesn't want you to take 4 shots. And I'm like, what are you doing calling me anti-Semitic? I'm not against groups. I don't get into group politics.
Adam, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Alex.
Yes, sir.
I've got the perfect answer for the ADL. They are going to have to listen up. What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us.
I mean, this is... I'm in the Twilight Zone.
So he's picking up a fly swatter.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say? What do you have to say to Alex Jones right now, Nick Fuentes and Ye?
Oh, you guys, I got it. He's saying Netanyahu is like a little net. He has a net connected to like a handle. And then he has some Yahoo chocolate drink next to the net. So it's net and Yahoo. Oh man, Kanye is a fool.
It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Ye. Okay. I had no idea your voice is gonna sound like that, Netanyahu.
So you don't like Benjamin Netanyahu?
I just heard about this guy 2 weeks ago since like the tweet, and I thought he had a funny name. I heard he's like really into like, he's like a super killer. I could die for saying this. So in case this the last time you ever hear from me.
Well, look. I'm glad you guys are here, and we can sit here and upset. All I'm telling you is, do you guys realize that the British government created Hitler and the Milner Group put him in power, and there's something much more sophisticated? And I personally think that most Jews are great people, and I understand there's a Jewish mafia, and they're used to demonize anybody that promotes freedom, but I don't blame Jews in general for that. And there is a much larger eugenics, transhumanist, scientific elite agenda that's playing off.
What about abortion? It's 50% of black deaths. There's over 50.
Hey, one of the papers I had, you're like, why is all? And you're the director today. It's fine. The Margaret Sanger, Rockefeller-founded Planned Parenthood, came out today and said, because of your white guilt, white people need to give money so we can kill black babies. I swear to God, it's in my stack. If I hadn't moved it off the desk, I could pull it right up for you.
Why did I have you move it off the desk, Alex?
Because it's cluttered. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying, everybody asks, where's my papers? I don't have them there as a prop. I can literally go, look, I agree with you. Look at this. They say white people help us kill black people for your white guilt. It actually...
So he's talking about how abortion clinics are funded and they're made available to black women more than anyone else. Black women use the abortion clinics, and there were 50 million black babies aborted so far. So let's see what else they're talking about. Now, you guys, don't shoot the messenger, who is me bringing this interview to you. Listen to it, take what you want, and throw the rest away. That is what I'm doing.
Tilly says that. Now, I'm agreeing with you.
Is it a problem with props? We can't. This is the voice of Netanyahu.
Well, see, you get your mop. I'm going to find the tweet here. See, because I want to show you this. This is a big, guys. I sent it to you this morning. It was in the tweets. You pull it up. It's official Twitter of the eugenics death cult. Talk about Nazis. I mean,
we're going to have Netanyahu step out for a second, okay, Alex?
Oh, he's going to go?
I'm leaving for now until it's another meeting, and then I'm going to say something. All right.
Kanye is a
You're not only an artist, you're a comedian. But Nick, that's what I'm getting at here is that is that it was a it doesn't matter. I mean,
Alex Jones can't keep a straight face after Kanye did that voice with the net and the Yahoo. Get it?
There's fluoride in the water killing us all. They're injecting us with GMO. Oh, here's the question, and I'm not an apologist for Israel. I'm trying to be balanced here, and I believe in First Amendment. I believe in free speech. I endorse you, say whatever you want. Israel has, other than like Singapore.
I had to cut the video, but like I said, I'm going to leave the link in the description for you guys to go and look at the video. Start at the 25-minute mark. They were saying things that could get my channel in trouble, but you can go to Infowars.com and start at the 25-minute mark, and you can take whatever you find of value and throw the rest away. It gets pretty dicey, you guys, at that point on the video. So go and watch and leave me a comment about what you think.